Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the show where we interview the nation's leading real estate entrepreneurs. It's your host, Stephen Schmidt. I'm on the road today. I'm out in Dallas for one of our quarterly masterminds and having a great time, and had some time to carve out here to come and do the show today with my friend Joe Kavanagh, and we are going to get into it. Today we're going to be talking about how to listen, to relate, not just to respond, and we're going to be talking about how to work smarter, not harder. Joe's got a 40-plus year career in the real estate space and is now coaching real estate investors and other professionals to basically achieve what they want to achieve. And so we're super excited to hop into this conversation. But before we do that, just remember, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, and real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their businesses to allow them to build the businesses they've always wanted, to allow them to live the lives they've always dreamed of. With that being said, Joe, welcome to the show today.
Thank you, Stephen. It's a privilege to be on here, and I appreciate it very much.
Absolutely. Now, before we hop into it, I've got 2 questions for you. Number 1, did I say your last name right? Because I always... Was I close?
Closer than most people, yeah.
Okay,
and
how do you actually pronounce it?
It's an Irish name. It's an Irish name, and the Irish way of saying it is Kavanagh. But
Kavanagh.
In America, they tend to say Kavanagh. But either way is good.
Okay, well, I was close. Okay, yeah, I realized after we hit record, I was like, I forgot to ask how to say the last name, so I'm gonna guess it and hope I get close enough. So, Kavanagh, there we go. So, Joe, can you just, before we really hop into some meat and potatoes for our topic today, could you just share a little bit about yourself and how you got here for our listeners?
Oh, yeah. Have to give the thumbnail story here for sure. But I've been in sales pretty much all my life. People told me at a young age I just had a knack for talking them into stuff. So I tried different things. And then it just, as fate would have it, get into real estate. And I was doing pretty well in the beginning. And then we had a big recession that hit back then. And that was in the 80s. And so I got away from it, moved to another state. I grew up in Massachusetts, outside of Boston. And then we moved to Maine, and of all things, I bought a campground. So we used to love to camp. I thought it'd be heaven to own that. Well, that didn't turn out to be the best idea, but it worked for a while. And then we had an opportunity to sell it and make some money. So we did. And so I thought, what else can I buy? Well, I bought a Christmas tree farm. I went the opposite spectrum. And that was heaven on earth. But it was pretty rural, and we were having children, and they were having social interaction issues. So long story, had to sell it, or decided to sell it. And while I had the Christmas tree farm, I got back into real estate sales because the brokers up there were bugging me to do it. And then I get into appraisals. So when our parents passed away, my wife and I decided to move south, get away from the cold, end up here in Charleston, South Carolina. And I thought, well, either the appraisal business or the real estate business is going to take off. So I'll work on both.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
As it turns out, the appraisal side really took off like wildfire. And within about 3 to 4 years, I grew that to the second largest firm in Charleston. Wow. So there's that. And enjoyed that ride very much so. And while I was doing that, I kept my broker's license. And when a deal came up, I would invest in it. And then, a lot of people wanted estate work done and selling properties for the estate. So I would take things that came into my hand that fell into my lap. And then about 9 years ago, I just decided I want to get back into sales because I want to travel more. So I thought that mobility would help because with appraisals, you physically got to be here. And that worked out better than I could have ever expected. I was a 6-figure income earner the first year I got back into real estate. And that continued. So very successful career there. And over my years, especially in the appraisal business, I came across deals that, bank REOs and whatnot. So I started investing in properties. And you and I touched on this a little bit. I grew that to a portfolio of 19 properties that I was owning and managing myself. And that was going great on paper. I was a multimillionaire and all that. And then 2007, 2008 hit us. And even though I was in the business on both sides, it still caught me and bit me. And that was a major setback. But learned a lot of lessons from that. And I was much harder on myself than I probably should have been. And that kept me down for a few years. I just once bitten, twice shy. And it wasn't until about 2013 or 14 that I finally started to get back into it. And been moving along really nicely ever since. I'm at an age now where I could be fully retired. I don't need to work. I've got plenty of passive income. I love to help people. And that bug got me back into sales. And so that's what I've been doing. Everybody keeps telling me that they're asking me for advice, for coaching, training, mentoring, and all that. So I finally decided to start a coaching business. And as it turns out, I have a very successful coaching business that I own. So most of the things I've touched, I've been a success at.
When you were going through that down season in 2007, 2008, you mentioned that you learned a lot of lessons. What were some of the biggest ones that you learned during that season?
Yeah. One of the things I learned is find ways or outlets to control your stress. That was a big one for me. And it took me a while to find the right path for that. But the reason I say that, it was making me physically ill. And I'm a very healthy guy. I've been an athlete all my life. I'll be 71 on Thursday in 3 days. Wow. And I can still run circles around people 20 years younger than me for the most part.
Sure.
And the stress was just, I couldn't sleep. I just thought my world had ended. Suicidal tendencies started to creep in, all that. Went to a doctor to get sleeping pills so I could sleep. He diagnosed me as depressed. They put me on drugs for that. That made things worse. I'll tell you what, I feel bad for people that are on drugs because it does really affect your brain. But yeah, that was probably the biggest thing. That, and I kept thinking I was a failure. So all those negative thoughts crept in. And yet, when I went back out there, keep in mind, I still had some of my appraisal business. It was slow, but we still had it. And I was doing research on properties, and I knew people that were millionaires, much bigger than me. And they were getting foreclosed on these $2, $3, $4 million properties. So I thought, well, maybe it isn't just me, it's the world.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
So,
Sure.
yeah, I finally learned some hard lessons that way. But that took, not going to lie, that took 2 or 3 years to get over that.
Right. Now, what was that like when you were getting back into it? What were you processing or feeling during that stage as well, going through it, then being on the tail end, deciding to get back into it?
Yeah, I was very hesitant. That once bitten, twice shy had a big grip on me. And I just kept thinking if I take another chance and we have another crash or recession, whatever, I'm toast. So I've got to be ultra conservative. Now, it's not my personality to be conservative. Probably
Sure.
like most entrepreneurs, we're risk takers. That's the whole
Right.
definition of it, willing to take a risk for the big return. And I finally found a house I could flip. It was on the low end. I picked it up for like $35,000. We put 25 into it and we sold it for 150.
Hmm.
Things like that. And then that worked out. So I found another one. That worked out. That built my confidence back up. But it was that negative self-talk that it's tough to get over. I hired two coaches because I was told that would help me, which I didn't think so. I'm a stubborn Irishman. I just thought I knew better than everybody else. I can do it on my own. If I have a bit of advice on this call, that's it. Don't go it alone. Find a
Hmm.
coach that you're compatible with and work with them because that outside viewpoint and how they can bring the right positivity out of you, that's key. That is really key.
Hmm. How did you go about finding your coaches?
Well, one, I married one.
They
Bit of
tend
a
to be the
joke on
best
that.
coaches too, don't they?
Yeah, well, what happened was my first wife and I had split up, and I was out there, and I met this woman who was just I fell in love with pretty much right away. We ended up getting married, and turned out she turned me around, and she was the one that
Hmm.
said you should be doing this. I would recommend you do that. Do some meditation, um, different things like that that I never even thought about. I was like she said, if you want to be the best you can be. You need to be who you are at your true essence. I didn't even understand what that meant when she told me. I was trying to be the person I thought everybody wanted me to be and didn't even know it. I thought that was me. So there was a lot of that went on and self discovery. And eventually that led to a much better quality network of friends.
Hmm.
And in that network, there were some coaches. And one of them I hit it off with very well because we both grew up in the Boston area. So we spoke the same lingo, so to speak. And so I decided to hire her and work with her. So that's pretty much how that came about. And when you do the right things, the right people come into your life.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Because when you change your energy, you change what you attract, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and a book that helped me a lot that initially along the way was The Four Agreements by Don
Hmm.
Miguel Ruiz. And
Yep.
that's a Bible for anybody. And I read that book once or twice a year just as a refresher.
It's a real short read, but it's a really good. It's a very good book. I read it just this last year for the first time. Um, Now, so let me ask you this, because you've obviously been able to live a rich experience in the last 30,
Mm.
40 years of your career, having failures, setbacks, wins as well. What did you do this time around that helped you to be more bulletproof or safer and better structured to where something like what happened in '08, '07 wouldn't happen again to you.
Yeah, absolutely. First thing you want to do.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Is you want to invest in yourself and learn and be open to different techniques and different programs that maybe you weren't familiar with before. I did that. I came across or stumbled across a couple of real good ones. And so I started implementing those tools into my business. And as we talked about a little bit in the green room before the show, I was already a realtor distinction, 6-figure income earner, top 10% of my industry. And I was closing my appointments at a ratio of 37%, which, if I remember right, the last time I checked, the industry average is down around 20%. So I was at 37%, implemented these new tools into my business, and in less than a year, that shot up to 86%. Wow. So I knew I'd finally found the right implementations and stuck with them, and it's been great ever since. Actually, I'm making the same amount of money I was when I was working 60 hours a week. I'm doing it about 20 hours a week now.
Wow, that's incredible.
So that's one of my mottos is work smarter, not harder.
You bet. Tell us a little bit more about that in terms of how that affects or how you run your day-to-day.
How do I run my day-to-day? Okay, my motto, first of all, is I'm going to do what I want to do when I want to do it. The reason for that is that got me over my physical stress level because that was up here. I was stressful up to here. Now I hardly have any stress. And I just dictate what I'm going to do. The other thing that I'm very particular about lately, and this is from my coach because I am not this planner type of guy, have a calendar with everything on it and stick to it, even if you don't want to do it. You know, that eat the frog story, or, you know, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? Yeah, that's the hardest part for me, that's sticking to a schedule, because it's not my personality to do that. Sure. So you do need to have discipline.
So what is that?
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, finish. I thought you were done because of the pause.
I start my day off with a meditation, first of all. And I get up, well, I make a lemon water. I go out on my back sunroom, wait for the sun to rise. I got a lot of bird feeders and things like that out there. We have deer out back. So sit and watch nature, and I just meditate for usually about a half an hour. And then I typically go for a walk 2 to 3 miles. And before I start any of my day, that's my first 2 hours is personal time. And then after that, it's usually about 7 o'clock or so, 7:30. And I get my day started into business. So you have to have personal time too. You can't be just work all the time because you burn out. I did.
Why has it been so important for you to do that in the morning versus like the middle of the afternoon or evening time?
Yeah. I don't know about anybody else, but a lot of times in my sleep, or if I wake up thinking about something or worried about something, all these negative thoughts start to creep in. Oh, you'll never get this done. You really think you can do all this? You shouldn't be doing this. This isn't going to work out. That sort of thing. And what I do when I get up and meditate is I can acknowledge those negative thoughts, but release them. Don't absorb them. And I've done a lot of energy work. And when you release something, you've left a gap so you can replace it with something. And that's when I have a lot of these mantras or just little sayings that I can use to put the positivity back in my life. One of them is, a lot of people are never happy in their life because their happiness depends on a certain event happening. I'll be happy when I get this raise. I'll be happy when I get this job. I'll be happy when I find the right mate, etc. And then they go through their whole life not happy because maybe those events don't happen. All you got to do is get up in the morning and choose to be happy, because it is a choice.
Sure.
And I get a ton of compliments from people throughout the day because I go around looking happy, and I am happy. Real estate company I'm associated with, the owner, he said he loves it when I walk in the office, that everybody just kind of lights up. Oh, Joe's here, great, and I pick up their spirit a little bit. When I'm at the store, I'll just look somebody in the eye, just say hi, and sometimes that's all people need. They want to be recognized.
Now, you mentioned you went from stress up to your eyeballs to not having any stress anymore. Is that just because you started meditating and having a morning routine, or when did you start living for yourself and being your true self and not living only for the expectations of other people? Like, what was that like for you?
That happened probably about, let's see, 6, 7 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the tools I talked about, that I found out that you were kind enough to do that
Sure.
little exercise for me. It helps to tell you who that person is that you're going to be talking to, your prospect,
Right.
what they value, what their personality is like. So when you go there, you're not stressed. And I was bending over backwards, kind of combating with my clients, because they were like methodical and take their time, and they need to bullet point this, that, and everything had to be a schedule. My personality is the opposite of that. I'm a fly by the seat of my pants guy. If a new opportunity comes up, I'm there. Squirrel, the squirrels all day long with me. And
Yeah.
I was struggling with those people, and it was stressing me out. And I used to get so mad. I'd get off the phone and say, God damn, these people that just won't listen to me. And that's when
Sure.
my wife would interject, and she'd say, that's because they're more into the organization. You just have to tell them step by step. And when I started doing that, of course, all of a sudden everything was falling into place. It was like a bed of roses, and
Mm.
life became easier. And
Is that why
the
you're
meditation
stressed?
keeps. The other part of that is, I had a deal one time where I got people within $5,000 of each other on a $500,000 house, but they wouldn't budge, get any closer, and I was fighting
Wow.
with it. My wife said, "Look, if you would just step back and let the universe do what it's going to do anyway, because it'll be the best for everybody involved, and you stop trying to manipulate it, things are going to work out. Just relax. Don't worry about it." So on this particular episode, I finally decided, okay, you think you're so good at this, I'll listen to you and I'll do it. The next day I got a call, and the buyer was willing to come up 4 if the seller would come down 1, without me even saying anything.
The
And
next
I'm like,
day.
that's crazy. Yet I've discovered since that it truly is, the universe is going to do what it does anyway.
Mm.
And if a deal doesn't work out, that was for the best for those people, believe it or not. It's just like when things happen to us. Why did this happen to me? And then 15 years later, you might look back on that event and say, I see now why that happened. That's another thing. Life happens for you, not to you. I had the attitude that when bad things happen, especially, why did that happen to me? And I'd be mad. And that raises your stress. And now it's like, okay, that wasn't a defeat. That was an opportunity. What did I learn from that? Or what can I learn from that? And apply it going forward.
Sure.
Just that mind shift. That's really all it boils down to. It's a mind shift.
Yeah. What are you super excited and passionate about now that you're coaching more, focusing on growing that? What really makes you happy to get out of bed in the morning?
Oh, when my clients have that breakthrough moment, and they have an aha moment, and all of a sudden it dawns on them. It's like, and they're thanking me, and I'm like, don't thank me. I'm the coach here. You figured it out. I just help guide you to that. And yeah, when that happens, and then they go out and they do something, they're successful, and they call me back or text me, whatever. It's like, I can't believe it. I just did this. And I said, well, believe it, because you can do it. And those are the moments that I really cherish right now. That's what I love. I love
What
helping
do you,
people.
what do you primarily focus on with your coaching?
I focus on my client. Each one's different. They have different needs. They have different lackings. Usually it's negative mindsets. And my job is to pull that out of them and let them see it and see how it's affecting their life, both personally and business. Because let's face it, your business gets intertwined with your personal life, and your personal life's intertwined with your business life. And it just, they all end up, their life becomes so much simpler, and it's not really, they keep thanking me for it. I don't know that it's me that's doing it. I'm just observing and giving them some feedback. And if they're committed to making themselves better, it happens every time.
Mm. Now, do you do this for a specific group of people, or who do you really enjoy working with the most?
I work with anybody. There are two areas. Well, of course, real estate's my area of expertise. Over 40
Right.
years in the business, I've seen it all, done it all, probably. And so that naturally, realtors, I'm in that arena, so I talk to those people more. But anybody from a solopreneur to corporations.
Hmm.
I was fortunate enough to speak at an event on stage in Vegas last year. And in that particular one, I was talking about how to be who you are at your true essence. And especially for men, it was focused on men. And the problem with men today, they're so stoic, they keep everything closed up emotionally versus women. And again, generalizing, not saying everybody.
Sure.
Um, and when I gave that talk, there was a big risk. I thought this is either going to go over great or I'm going to get thrown out of there. And I got such a positive response. I had guys coming up to me thanking me for saying those things, so because it made them feel better about it. And I had women coming up to me and said, "Oh, thank you, Joe. You got to get this message out, especially to the guys. My husband needs to hear this," that sort of thing.
Right.
And that is such a great feeling that you're connecting with people and helping them out, helping making them a little bit better. I mean, that's, you come into this world, what's your purpose is hopefully to leave it a little bit better than you found it.
Have you figured out what your purpose is?
Yes, now it is. I just did at a workshop in Munich, Germany last December. It finally came
No
into
kidding.
laser focus.
Wow.
No, and and went over there because of through my coach and that network. I found out about this, and I thought this is really high level. I'm going to try this out. I thought I didn't know if I belonged there, but it truly did. As it turns out, that gave me more confidence. I got it laser focused, and going forward, it's to help primarily men understand that they can be more emotional and open up. It's okay if you're upset, you can, cry, let it out, that sort of thing. And the advantage to that business wise is more people are going to relate to you and like you. And it's easier to do business. Why do you think most successful real estate people are women? Because they
Hmm.
can relate to people emotionally. Because think
Interesting.
about it. Real
Yeah.
estate is an emotional decision, not a
Sure.
business decision when somebody's
Right.
buying a house. And that's
Wow.
one of the key things that I hear and see most agents miss.
Hmm. That's incredible. That's something to think about for sure, too. Now, if you had to go back to the beginning of it all, 40-year career, and you had to start over, but you were able to take all of the knowledge that you currently have from every win, every lesson you've learned. If you started all over again, what would you do different and what would you do the same?
A lot of things I do different. Um,
Yeah.
as I said earlier, my stubbornness got in the way. I thought I knew the answers. I could figure it out. I didn't need anybody else to tell me. So I
Sure.
didn't listen to people. And that ended up costing me millions when you add it all up.
Mm.
Um, so, one, I would hire a coach. I would listen to other people who have been there, done that. Um, that's one of the things when people come to work with me, they say they like about me because I'm not 30, 35, 40. I'm much older. And I've been there and done that, and I have the experience. So they trust me on that. But yeah, that's probably the biggest thing I would do different is I would get help from people that have been there and done that. What would I do the same? I'm a risk taker. I wouldn't change that one bit. Every time I did something that people thought were crazy, it worked out for the best. Starting with, we grew up in Massachusetts. I had a good, secure job driving an 18-wheeler, and we left to go camping. My wife and I one night said, well, why don't we go buy a campground? So we moved to another state. We had just bought our first house. We're in our mid-20s. We just bought our first house the year and a half before that. We had just had a child. He was 8 months old. And we uprooted, sold our house, and moved to another state where we didn't know anybody. Talk about taking a risk. My philosophy back then was I didn't want to retire and be sitting on the front porch in our rocking chairs and just keep saying, I wish we had tried this, or I wish we had done that. Or what would have happened if we had done this? I just went out and did them. I figured, you come into this world with nothing. So what if you leave with nothing? And our situation moving to Maine, buying a campground, we thought, well, if it doesn't work out, we'll sell it. We'll come back. We'll just go right back to what we were doing.
Yeah. To your point there, I heard a clip probably a few weeks back that talked about living a good life. And it was this parable of a man who was going to the Lord and saying, hey, I want you to give me patience. And so he put him through things that would make him patient that were very difficult, right? And then he said, okay, well, I want to be strong. And so he put him through things that we're gonna make him strong, and through tough things. And he said, well, I want wealth. And so he had to deal with poverty so that way he would value the wealth. And then he goes back and he goes, I've gotten all these things, but I just really want to all I want is I want to have a good life. And the Lord looks at him and says, well, just like gold in the fire, like I can't tell what the finished product is, if it's going to be good or not. And so similarly in life, you can only find out if you had a good life when you reach the end. And that hit me. To your point of not leaving anything on the table, it's like you really don't know if you're going to have a good life until you get to the end and you're sitting in that rocker on the front porch having your sweet tea, or whatever, and you're reflecting back and going, man, did I leave it out on the table, or did I have all these things that I wish I would have done?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Joe, I'm super grateful we were able to have this conversation today. But if people want to learn more about you or what you're working on, where should they go for that?
Yeah, the best way to get me really is to reach out by email. And the best email is candjcoaching@gmail. So it's my wife, Cindy, and Joe, candjcoaching@gmail. You can find me on social media. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I don't do TikTok, although I have an account, but I don't use it. And that's pretty much the best way to get me.
Someone come get your grandpa. Joe's going to figure TikTok out, and then we're all in trouble.
I'm not going to push the boundaries on that, I don't think.
I love it.
I have enough to do with the 3 businesses. So.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I'm retired.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed today's show. Thanks again, Joe, for being here. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you, Stephen. It's been fun.
You bet. See y'all till next time.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.